Praise. All right, we are live. Welcome to Geek Happenings, home of everything geek. Tonight, I have with me Jennifer Nangle from the upcoming Demonic Happenings. I'm sorry.
Demonic Attachment.
Attachment, yes.
Demonic Happenings, definitely.
Well, Geek Happenings, Demonic Attachment.
You melded them all into one. It's like we're
Yes.
one now.
So how are you tonight? Sorry it took so long to get started.
I'm feeling kind of sleepy because, you know, I was at jury duty all day today, but I'm raring to go. I'm raring to talk some horror with you, so it'll be good.
Good deal. So you've got after getting the technical difficulties done, doing well, much better nonetheless.
Good.
So you've got this Indiegogo campaign going for Demonic Attachments. Tell me a little about that.
I do. We've got 3 more days left, and we're super close. We're about, I think, like $400 or $500 away from our goal. And it's been running for 45 days, and we've got some really cool perks on there. There's one where you can see the film early. You can see some behind-the-scenes videos that we're doing. We give out shout-outs. There's a really cool perk that nobody's actually bought yet, which I'm pretty shocked. It's the $250 one. It's like a Google Hangout with me where I get to tell you some haunted stories that happened to me when I was a young kid. So
nice. Yeah, I hear the Demonic Attachment is based actually off of a true story that happened to you.
It is, yeah. I grew up in a haunted house. It was I grew up in a small town called Danvers, which was part of Old Salem Village, which was part of the whole Salem witch trials. And the house I grew up in had some happy hauntings going on in there. Nothing scary, nothing demonic. You know, I used my imagination for this film, but it's some really cool, interesting things have happened in that house. So it's definitely going to be a good adventure with this film.
Yeah, the East Coast is definitely, and especially the Boston area and things like that, definitely has a long history of witchcraft and the witch trials and everything like that. So definitely some good things to pull from.
Yep, absolutely.
So what's your favorite horror movie? Or what do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, okay. So I have a couple of favorite horror movies, but the one that I found myself watching over and over and over and over again as I was like coming up with the idea, coming up with was now, nobody hate on me, okay? But it was Blair Witch. I watched Blair Witch over and over again because when I was in high school and that movie came out, it caused quite a huge controversy. And the more like I read about it, the more like I saw the interviews with the cast, the more that I saw how it was pieced together, I found it absolutely fascinating. I thought it was like really super cool that they tried to take this fake idea and make it a reality. So I'm trying to take a reality and make it into not so much a fake idea, but a based on idea, you know? So that was the one that I watched over and over again. And then I have to say that my other 2 favorite movies are Saw. I really love the first one. And Insidious, hands down. Every time I watch that movie, I always get chills. I really, really like Insidious.
So we've got some familiar faces from Guides and Demonic Attachment.
Yes, yes. Jen Wilson, who is now the artist formerly known as Jen Wilson. She's now going Jennifer Ferrick. She is in the film, and yeah, I don't want to tell you. Like she plays a therapist in the film, so it's really cool. It's really cool. We're just continuing on with other adventures together.
That's awesome having that familiarity with somebody that you worked with before.
Absolutely.
And going into a new.
Yeah, and she's so supportive. She is always there to help out, you know. And in the beginning stages when we were talking about the idea in the film, and she helped me, you know, weed out some good ideas, some bad ideas, and you know, we definitely outlined a lot prior to me writing the film. So yeah, we're the Jen show. You can't have one without the other. You're gonna always be stuck with both of us. So.
Excellent. So this is your second time writing, because I know we have some writing credits on Coat Room as well. The other short.
No, I just produced and acted in Coat Room.
Oh.
I did write some mini scenes for guides, which are slowly being edited right now, and hopefully we will have them released within the next month or so. So I wrote those, but this is like demonic attachment is my baby. This is my thing. I've talked about these stories for years, so I find myself a little bit more nervous and worrisome about it because I'm so protected over it, and at the same time I just can't wait to just do it and release it and get it out there and share it with everybody. But it's great. It's great. It's really cool. It was a very cool, interesting process, and this is just a small piece of what I want to do. I pretty much wanted to kind of write a short kind of prequel type idea, film that with an easy budget that I could afford, and get that into the film festival circuit, get people talking about it, because the more and more that I'm in it, the more I'm realizing that the horror family, the horror crew, are so supportive. Like, everybody's always like reached out, and you know, I've been promoted on a bunch of websites, and you know, I got a news article the other day in my hometown and stuff. I mean, people really are ride or die with horror, and so I'm really excited to release this so that then, you know, I can get people talking and hopefully get some funding to actually make the feature that I want to make based upon it.
Any plans on getting it out to any cons or anything like that? Because I know there's some horror cons and things like that out there.
You know, I never thought about it, but now that you mentioned that, absolutely, I would love to do that. That'd be really cool. Really, really cool. Because, yeah, the horror community is just so amazing. They're so amazing. They're like the sci-fi, you know, sci-fi community. They're super, super warm and super supportive and just willing to help out, which I think is awesome.
Seems to be that way with the whole web series community. The first time actually that I saw you was actually in the Super Mashed Up with Guides and Super Knocked Up with you and Jen and Jordan Gibson.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever heard of Guides, so that was a great promotion for both of your guys' series as well.
Oh, absolutely. And Jeff is like #1 supportive out of anything and everybody that I've ever met. He's always willing to help somebody out or talk about it. And so when he mentioned that whole mashed up, I was so sick that day when we filmed. I was so sick. I drove two and a half, close to 3 hours, because we got stuck in Comic-Con traffic just to film it, because it was just like the best idea ever. And I was like sweating and I was coughing and I had like no voice and like my face is all swollen, but yeah, it was worth it. It was worth doing that mashup.
Yeah, just I can't count how many web series that I've become familiar with just by watching the Super Geeked Up and things like that with you, and Cranium Cookie is another one, and a few other ones that I've become aware of.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really, really cool.
And everybody that I've interacted with, like you and Jeff and everybody from Super Knocked Up, has been really, really great with the fans and communicating with the fans and things like that.
Oh my gosh, without you guys, we would be nothing. We would be absolutely nothing. You know, I mean, I still, like, every day thank the universe, you know, for you and Glenn and Anthony and Jeff, you know, because you guys, no matter what I do or what I post or what I say, you guys are always so supportive and giving and caring. And so I appreciate that. I super appreciate that, because honestly, there have been so many years I've been struggling, just really struggling. So it's great to have you guys behind me.
Yeah, I know it. The acting life can definitely be hit or miss, and
Oh my gosh.
and like that. I know there's definitely some struggles.
Oh, you have no. Well, I'm sure you probably have an idea, but when you're
Yeah.
going through it, you always feel like you're alone and you're the only person that's going through this, and you're the only person that feels so sad. And like sometimes I'll just post something and there'll be like 4 or 5 other actors out here. They're like, I totally know what you're saying. I totally get it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have your down days and then you have your exciting up days. So it's a roller coaster.
Yeah. Especially when you're kind of going on like people's approval of you and things like that. It would kind of get to you that way. Like if you don't get the job or something, what's wrong with me, and things like that.
Absolutely. And then, you know, just from doing my own projects and holding my own castings, it's any wonder. I mean, in Demonic Attachment, we cast 2 other female roles, an older woman and then a young girl. And for the young girl part, we got almost 1,000 submissions just for one part. So that was really hard, like weeding them out. And then, you know, we called in a good chunk of people and the talent was just incredible. It was such a hard decision, but it just shows you how cutthroat it is that I was so shocked. I'm like 1,000 submissions just for like a supporting role. It's not even like a lead role, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, especially being out in LA and things like that, the mecca of all the actors, probably definitely more competition out there.
Oh my gosh, I lost 30 pounds and I'm finally kind of standing out a little bit. Like, it's crazy. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to kind of, you know, stay current, find out what works, what doesn't work, and just make your own projects too. It's really crazy. And like the more I've been doing film festivals too, the more I didn't realize like how so many people that work like on a regular basis in the industry are also doing their own thing. And you know, they've got money, they have ways to get like really great equipment and so, you know, little people like us, we're kind of having a hard time struggling and keeping afloat. So it's you got to find your ways to stick out and, I don't know, grab the attention.
Mm-hmm. So is this your third crowdfunding campaign? Did you do it for Guides and Courtroom as well?
This is well, technically this is my third, because we did 2 for Guides. And then I did not do 1 for Courtroom. I paid out of pocket with that, which was probably the biggest mistake I've ever done in my life. So learning that's why I did a crowdfunding for Demonic Attachment.
Probably have learned probably quite a bit from the first one going into Demonic Attachment.
From Courtroom, big time. I learned what works, what doesn't work, how cutthroat it is. You know, how you really got to raise the stakes to stand out in the film festival circuit. You know, there were a lot of times during Courtroom that I just kind of like just was getting not frustrated, but I just wanted it out there. I wanted it to be done and I wanted it to be out there. And I think I kind of rushed the post process a little too fast. And I learned that. I learned that it's okay that you don't have to get something out right away, that you can take your time and really, you know, invest in that quality time to make a really good product.
Actually, I stole that question from Glenn, otherwise known as Honky Tonk Buffalo on Twitter. He actually asked that question, what you learned from Courtroom coming into this production.
There was also another thing, because I did see his question. I thought about it. I was like, how can I make this this answer very interesting. Another point I'm going to add to that too is I would never film in one room ever again. I know when I approached the writer director, that's exactly what I wanted, but I would never do that again. In fact, there was kind of talks of keeping some scenes of demonic attachment in one room, and I just said no, because you really limit yourself and you limit the story, and it's really hard to film in a small room with lots of people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, we were like on top of one another, you know, and I really wanted to have like a lot of behind the scenes shots with Coat Room. And so our photographer could only be in there while we were not shooting, and that, you know, he had to run out because there just wasn't enough arm room for the boom guy. I mean, it was just cramped. Yeah. So that's my answer, Glenn. I would never film in one room ever again.
Well, I guess with that demonic attachment is going to take place outside, or have you done some scene or some location hunting or anything like that?
What I tried to do with this film is, again, not keep it in one place. But I also tried to make the locations easy for us because permits are so expensive. Insurance is so expensive. Just right there alone, you know, I mean, doing guides, that was a chunk of our crowdfunding money was going to insurance and everything. So I kind of wanted to cut back on some of that. And so I think the story is told extremely well in the locations that I've chose. But you'll have to wait and see. I don't want to give too much away.
I think kind of the horror genre kind of lends itself to kind of being able to get away with things with a lower budget than like sci-fi or things like that would cost. So I think you're probably in the right genre as far as starting out.
I cannot agree with you more. And we are going to be adding some special effects and visual effects to the film too. So I'd rather the money go there and make it more scary and visually pleasing than to spend a lot of money filming in a park or, you know, getting a hotel or whatever.
Yeah, I think people that go to the movies don't really understand the actual costs that are behind films. I've kind of gotten a glimpse of it with donating to crowdfunding and things and having everybody like say where all the money's going to, and it's amazing that after the movie's made, that there's not really much money going to the people that are actually making the film. It's all for insurance or locations and things like that.
Or even like if you want to hire a composer, like the money goes there. You want to definitely feed and pay your crew, which unfortunately I can't this time around, but you want to feed everybody and make everybody happy while they're there on set, because they're still making you look good and sound good and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, tons of money goes into food, and yeah, locations are so expensive. So I try to keep it as simple as possible, but keep it visually interesting as well.
So how long were you planning for Demonic Attachment to be? You said it's a short, so how long are shorts usually?
I was told that any type of short film over 10 or 12 minutes you can lose an audience. So I've kept it around. Right now it's about 14 minutes without credits. So I wanted to keep it like really short and sweet and to the point. And because we have such limited time, we really shove a whole bunch of information at you right when the short starts. So I really hope that people will pay attention from the beginning to the end because of all the stuff that we throw at you. Like, we really start with the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, it's always amazed me with like web series they're usually like 5 to 10 minute episodes, and being able to get information and to tell a story like in an individual episode and then have it be put together in the whole story. is kind of interesting. So do you think it's easier doing in the short form or long form as far as writing?
I've never written long form. I've only written short. So I guess we'll see when I do that. I think though when you do have the long feature, you have a lot more room to play. You know, you can invest a little bit more time in the building up the characters. You can invest more time in maybe like a mystery or you know, like a spooky aspect or something. When you have a short, you really have to just go in and do it, you know, get to the point. So yeah, when I finish the feature, I'll let you know.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
But I also find it fascinating too, because when we were doing guides, pretty much all of our episodes were 10-ish pages, all of them. And towards the end of the season, they were kind of ranking out at like 6 minutes, 4.5 minutes, and they were still 10 pages. They were still pretty much the same amount of pages as episodes 1, 2, and 3 were. So I found that really interesting too.
Just a lot of information crammed in the shorter time span.
Yeah, or maybe because we did like a lot of visual, it kind of took away from words, and so that might have speed up the episode. I don't know. I'm not really 100%, but yeah.
So with the horror genre, you said you would like Blair Witch and things like that. What's probably the scariest movie that you've ever seen?
I mean, hands down, The Exorcist. That was horrifying. And that was also based on a true story too.
Totally agree. I don't know why, but it seems like things like with demons and the devil and things like that, it seems like that it's more real to me than some guy going around killing everybody with an axe. It's like indestructible.
Yes.
I kind of feel like that can happen more.
Yeah, because I think because we do think that it could be a possibility, that it could happen. We've heard those urban legends, you know, that did happen to somebody. And so I think that's what makes it more spookier.
Yeah, and I guess being raised as a Christian boy, I kind of have that drilled into you as well.
Going to church every Sunday? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't do anything wrong, or the devil will be watching, or yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And having all the exorcisms and things. Luckily, I'm not Catholic, so I wasn't bruised too bad.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I was. Yeah, definitely The Exorcist. I'm trying to think like what else. I mean, as a kid, I used to get super scared, and I feel like, you know, as I've gotten older and the more horror movies I watch, it's just kind of like, like Paranormal Activity, I was kind of like, where everybody was like petrified, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say Exorcist. Exorcist is the scariest.
Yeah, I think I can remember Nightmare on Elm Street was probably the first horror movie that I remember seeing. I was pretty young at that. I was spending it over a friend's house, and we had like cable at the time, and we ended up flipping over to Nightmare on Elm Street. But then when the scary parts, we like flipped to something else.
Yeah. Or if you were like in your sleeping bag, you put the sleeping bag over your face.
Yeah.
We didn't have that cool stuff at girl sleepovers. We watched Dirty Dancing.
Oh, jeez. Lucky you.
Ew, no, I'd rather be watching the horror movies.
That, and I remember when we had Channel 50, I don't know if it's even out there anymore, they had Children of the Corn, which was edited, but it still scared the crap out of me even with it being edited.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
So definitely a lot to pull from.
I also thought Stephen King's It, the original, was very freaky too, with the clown. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kind of another thing with the web series space is that it seems like it's where you have to really go for original ideas. I mean, seeing all the upcoming movies, they're all like remakes, rehashes, and things like that of movies that have all been done before.
Right?
There's not really any creativity or taking any risk in Hollywood anymore, I don't think.
Because everybody's so afraid of losing money. They really want to make back at least what they put into it. And it seems like the films that, you know, a lot of studios have put a ton of money in haven't done so well. And so everybody's so scared, and you're right, it is all remakes, and I just find it so boring. I really, really do. But at least like with Mad Max, they did have like a good twist to it, and they changed it up. You know, they kind of kept the same idea. And I know it wasn't based on the original one too, but I found Mad Max to be really, really good. I found that really entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to see that yet, but I've heard a lot of good things of it. We went and saw
you told us to see it in the theater, absolutely.
Yeah, we went and saw, like, speaking of remakes, we went and saw the Poltergeist remake.
I saw it last weekend too.
What do you think of it? I think it was kind of almost wrote to the original with kind of some modernization.
Absolutely.
In there.
I will say I did enjoy it though. I did. It was again one of those movies that continuously like kind of had something going on. It kind of kept your mind focused on the film. The only thing I didn't like was I felt like they really rushed the ending. Like really, really rushed the ending. And I don't want to give out any spoilers if anybody's going to watch it. But
yeah, it's still on the theaters, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's just kind of sad that there's no real original ideas. So we have to hopefully have you guys, all the folks in the web series community, coming up with some original ideas.
Absolutely. I've been playing around with an idea for a web series. I've been really itching to get back into web series because season 2 of Guides is taking a lot longer than we expected. We really are looking for money this time around because I did get to dabble in helping write season 2. And if we get the money, we can make it as epically amazing as we want to. So just finding that money is taking a little extra time. So I've been kind of thinking of like little ideas of what I can do while we wait for it. And I think I've stumbled across a really good idea. It's been kind of done before, but it's my twist on it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Once I get demonic attachment out of the way, I can kind of start dabbling and writing and stuff. But I really do miss doing the web series. I miss releasing an episode every week and talking to people about it. And I miss that.
Yeah, it seems, especially with new web series, it seems like you're kind of doing it the right way, kind of coming out with a short first so people can actually see what it's about and things like that. And then I think that would help with getting more money and sponsors and things like that for something bigger instead of trying to go for the big one right out of the gate.
Because I mean, I totally get it. A lot of production companies would be like, well, what have you done? You know, like, what do you have to back up? And they're right. I don't have a lot I can back up. I mean, I did mostly theater all my life. In the first couple of years I was out here in LA, since I wasn't booking films, I was doing a lot of theater. So yeah, I have very limited amount of credits. So I can't wait to prove what I can do. I'm really excited to prove it with this film too. I'm really excited. Just like we've rewritten it. I wouldn't say because I've definitely had the help of the director and Jen. And we've really formed this into a really fascinating story. I've rewritten it about 6,000 times, but I'm really excited to get started. Really, how many times can I say really? But really, I am.
Crutch words.
You can't stress how really excited I am.
So how is Jen? Having Jen on board really probably helped you quite a bit since she was probably one of the main writers, or the main writer on Guides, at least for season 1.
She actually didn't write season 1. She created it, and she had her really good friend who is he's got an improv background. He's a comedy writer. She had him write season 1. But he gave us an outline of season 2, and she and I kind of like tweaked it and, you know, created some things on our own. But having Jen with me throughout this, it just makes it easier because she and I can talk honestly with each other. And, you know, the other day she's like, this section's not working. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, it's not working. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so she came over, we sat down, we talked it out, and we came up with a really good fix for that section. So it's really good to have somebody around that knows that she cares just as much as you do, you know, whereas a lot of times you don't have that when doing film. Or
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, or out here in LA, like, you know, a lot of people just want to just show up and do the work and go home. Whereas when this is your baby, you want people to care about it as much as you do. And that's not usually the case.
Yeah, I saw you were having some issues on Craigslist. Like trying to get some people involved with it.
Whatever. Got haters. That's cool.
Or were people thinking you were looking for something else, or what? Why would they report it?
I had this situation with Coat Room too. I had posted a couple. I mean, one of our main, you know, crew positions, the director of photography, I posted, and I said it was not for pay because, like, honestly, I don't have the money, nor do I have a millionaire uncle that wants to give me money to do stuff. I don't have any production companies behind me that wants to give me money. Crowdfunding, as amazing and wonderful and successful as it is for some people, I've had a very difficult time doing it. And so a lot of times I can't pay people. I can pay them back in food and credit and copy and support and having a wonderful time on set. Like, that's the one thing that I can say about Jen is that when everybody was on the guide set, everybody was always having a good time. We were always laughing and having a good time. And so I try to keep that through Coat Room, and then I'm trying to keep that through Demonic Attachment. But I can't necessarily pay everybody. And so I was looking for just 3 positions. And so I posted it originally as, you know, no pay, looking for people interested in copy, credits, and meals. Well, got flagged. And so then I was like, okay, I bet you it's because some crew person is being a hater and they're mad that I'm not paying and they think that that's disrespectful. And I get it. But like, to me, if you're mad that I'm not paying, then this is not the project for you. You know, I totally get it. There are other projects out there that will pay you. Go after those, but don't be hating on me because you don't know that if I get funding, I won't be able to pay you in the future, you know? Mm-hmm. So I posted it again as student/intern looking for these positions, copy, credit, and meals. And again, I got flagged again. So I was so mad. I just get mad because it's like, I'm trying to do the best I can, and I want to do this, but I just don't have. If I could pay everybody, I totally would. Hands down. That's where the money would go. It wouldn't go to location. It would go to everybody, but I just don't have it, you know, yet. But someday I will.
So you kind of touched a little bit on the tribulations of the crowdfunding. Kind of go into that a little bit.
It's tough. Crowdfunding's tough. It's tough. And a lot of times too, because I know what it's like when you can't give money. And I'm always the person that I'm like I can't do it, but I'll retweet it or I'll share it or I'll try and help you out. And there were some people that I did like specifically reach out to that I said, hey, here's my Indiegogo campaign. I don't expect you to give me money. I'm just asking if you would share it with your friends or tweet it on Twitter or, you know, share a picture on Instagram and just help me get out the word because there's only one of me And there's a whole bunch of other people that have all these other people that are friends and yada, yada, yada. And I would say about 95% I was ignored. I was completely ignored. Like I could even get, like, I'm not really interested, don't want to help you out. Super cool. But I was ignored. And so I found it like really, really hard, and I'd reach out to like my mom and I'd be like, hey, can you share this with your friends? And she's like, I hate asking for money. And I'm like, I totally get it, but just share the video with them. And if they want to donate, they can. If not, they at least enjoyed the video and it was fun, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have to be honest with you. I'm super jealous of LA Macabre because they're gearing up for season 2 and they're looking for $65,000 and they're already $18,000 in. They are incredible. I am like, wow. I am so in awe of them and so jealous.
Hey to listener mate and Chris Hadley. They're watching and chatting on the YouTube channel.
Oh, yay. Hi, guys.
They're definitely big supporters, so give them a shout out.
Oh, absolutely. I love Chris, too. Chris is, again, one of those super supportive, kind, generous, likes things that I do. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the web series supporters, as we've kind of touched on, are definitely rabid. And it's so weird that it's like this whole like community. Like I have no idea that somebody watches like another web series and I'll see them like comment or follow or like, oh, this person, and then it seems like I see somebody that's suggested for me to follow and like 50 other of my followers or whatever follows them too. So
I think in the web series community we do have to be supportive of each other because it's still poo-pooed on. Like a lot of times if you say to somebody, especially out here in LA, oh, I did a web series. Before it'd be like, web series. Now it's like, oh, you're another one that did a web series. So it's really good to have people that support you, and it just really uplifts the genre and the community instead of, people just rolling their eyes.
I think that's kind of changing though, because there's some pretty big name people that are going into web series and things like that. And even the folks that you've got in Demonic Attachment, I was looking at some of their resumes and things like that. They've been on Grey's Anatomy and other TV shows and things like that. So there's definitely, I think that web series are definitely going to become kind of the go-to media, I think, eventually.
I hope so. I hope some of them turn into TV. I really do. I think there's a lot of great ideas that are being executed extremely well out there, and they deserve it. They really do deserve it. But again, Hollywood is so scared to do anything. They're scared to take risks.
Yeah, and I know that it's definitely, if you're in web series, you're definitely not making a whole lot of money. So it's definitely for the love of kind of creating and things like that. That's why I think that the web series folks are kind of more genuine and things like that, because they're actually doing it because they love it and not just for a paycheck and things like that.
Yeah, and they get it. They get that you just bled and sweated in it, and you shed those tears on it, and then sometimes you don't get anything back from it. So I think that people that are doing it and are in the genre totally understand everything and anything about it.
Yeah, I've seen Kristen Netapak. She's another web series creator, and she released a series off of a video game, and she pretty much did everything herself on green screens and things like that, and did the production and things like that. And I just don't know how people do that with all of that.
I mean,
the work on it.
Honestly, I don't blame her though, because a lot of times when it's like, hey, I've got this idea, I want to film something, I just want to put it on the web. It's not super serious, but it's important to me and I want to get that story out. Getting just at least 2 or 3 other people to help you out with it can be so tiresome, because you're trying to work around everybody's schedule, and then, you know, nobody's getting paid, so they have to go to work, and this day doesn't work right for this person, but this day works right for this person. And then, you know, just getting it filmed sometimes can be days instead of like a day like you were planning. So good for her for doing everything by herself, and she got it done too. A lot of times when you're relying on other people, it doesn't ever like pan out. So good for her.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of, when I see like web series that don't kind of make it, or like campaigns and things like that don't bring in the money that they want to, it kind of bums me out. And I would kind of wish that I was a millionaire and could like fund all the things, but unfortunately I can't. But people have come up with some creative ways of kind of working around it, things like that.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. If you really, really want it, then you kind of think outside the box.
It's definitely a good way to get your name at least out there and show what you can do.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I have been cast in season 3 of Broken at Love, and with Carolina Civis, and there is a girl that is super hardworking and really has dedicated so much time and effort into everything, and I'm really excited to be on set with her and see how everything goes, because I've seen season 1 and I've seen season 2, and that's a lot of work, locations, and she always has like a huge group of people around her in like almost every scene too, so just managing that and directing at the same time, that's crazy. So we'll see how that goes.
A lot of creative people out there.
There really are, and they're not afraid to go after it. They're ready to do it. I like that. I dig it.
So where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me personally on Twitter at Jennifer_Nangle. Or you can find Demonic Attachment. It's at demonic_attach. All of that is on Facebook. Demonic Attachment's on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Jen Nangle or Jennifer Nangle. We're on Instagram too. We need some followers. Follow us. But most importantly, go to our Indiegogo campaign, which is igg.me/@/demonic attachment. And there's a really fun video that you can watch. I did the makeup for it. And
awesome. I'll be putting the links to everything in the episode notes, so
cool.
People know where to find you.
Yeah, go there. Hang out. Watch it.
Actually, I thought that Demonic Attachment was just kind of like a name, so I was like, but then I was like Googling, trying to find out information about the show, and I found out that it's an actual thing.
It is.
That happens, and that's kind of interesting. Is that where you got the idea from?
Yes. My boyfriend got me into watching Ghost Adventures. I used to think that those shows were so corny and cheesy and made up, and the more I watched it, the more I found it like fascinating. I found out like even if what they're showing is a complete facade, I am extremely interested for that 1 hour as to what's going on, the history that they show, just everything about it. So when I was writing the film, I had an idea of what I wanted to call it. But every time I went onto IMDb and like I would search the title that I wanted to name it, there was like 6 or 7 other films or 10 other films, or there's another film coming out this year that's the same name. So my director was a little concerned with the title. He thought, are you telling too much with that title? I mean, you're pretty much telling it right away. And in the beginning, I was kind of like, maybe you're right, maybe this is too much. But now it's like, it sticks out, it stands out, it's kind of meaty, and it's original. So so yeah, that's where, yeah, the title did come off of that. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's an actual thing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's
People getting
actually
possessed and-
like there's a kind of thing off of like a demonic attachment, which is called a blood demon, which I really wanted to incorporate in the film too, but then it got a little too confusing what a blood demon was and what a demonic attachment was. It's pretty much the same thing, but you know, the demon is just sucking the life out of a person, and it's a demon and a ghost at the same time. So yeah, my blood demon didn't get in the film, but demonic attachment did.
Nice. Well, anything else that you wanted to get out there?
Watch for the guides mini scenes that are coming out this summer. I wrote 5 of them. They're pretty fun. They give you a little backstory about the series. A couple of them are prequels, kind of are in the same 2000 to the 2012 year that we filmed, and then one's kind of like a futuristic. They're really fun. We had a great time filming them. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I was going through and watching, rewatching some of the guide series, and it's a really funny series.
Too. I miss McKenna. I have to be honest. I miss McKenna all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the red lipstick and the crazy makeup and just being ditzy. I really miss it.
Yeah, there was one scene where you had outed a government person for having sex. And you're just sitting there drinking wine as Jen's talking to you on the phone. She's like, good job.
And I'm like,
yep. I was cracked up at that scene.
Yeah. We definitely have Sean Hanlon to thank for all of those little goodies during season 1. And I did have a good time. Did have a good time doing that series. So
well, we look hopefully to see more of when season 2 comes out, and definitely be looking for Demonic Attachment to be coming out, and people that are watching, go donate to the Indiegogo campaign so we can get this thing made.
Yes, please. I'm so close. So close.
Yep. Well, thanks for being on. It's been great. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning.
No, that's okay. I totally get it. I used to do that all the time, but have the technical difficulties with the Greg and Jen show. It was always a nightmare. But thank you so much for having me on. This is so much fun, and I'm glad I got to talk to you and talk horror for a little bit. That was great.
Thanks for coming on. I'll definitely tweet out everything and send you the link to the video and interview, and thanks for being on.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.